Probably the most important thing in developing your podcast is to figure out what the podcast is going to be about. Seems kind of obvious, but there are already too many podcasts out there where people just set up a mic and start talking off the tops of their heads. So to make yourself stand out among the thousands of podcasts out there, you need to ask yourself some questions. First of all, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Which is one of the eternal questions of life, but it also applies equally well to podcasting. Are you creating your own podcast to provide information about a certain topic? To express your views on politics, movies, or scuba diving? To expose people to great music they've probably never heard of? Or maybe you just love the sound of your own voice. The important thing is that you yourself know what it is that's driving you to create a show that you want other people to listen to. So along those lines, ask yourself, about what topics can I talk authoritatively? You don't necessarily have to be an authority on the subject, but at the very least, the topic of your podcast should be something you're passionate about. Something that you spend time reading about or practicing, even if you're not getting paid for it. And ask yourself if this is something people will want to listen to. Next, start thinking about the scope of your podcast. The people who seem to be the most successful with their podcasts are the ones who have carved out a niche for themselves. Keep in mind that unless you have some incredibly unique topic for your show, chances are that there are other people out there putting on a similar show. One of the reasons people listen to podcasts is because they can find shows about extremely specific topics. It might not seem like very many people would want to listen to a show about antique doorknob collecting, but for those people who are actually interested in this pastime, a show like that would probably be an incredible hit. So don't just do a show about cooking, do a show about cooking on a budget, or cooking dinners for two, or cooking outdoors. And again, honestly ask yourself if you think people will listen to your show. Another question you'll probably want to answer is how often are you going to produce your show? In order to build your audience, you need to come out with fresh content on a consistent basis. The keyword being consistent. Even if your listeners have their podcast software set to download your new shows automatically, you don't want to make them wait too long between shows. Podcast listeners can be pretty fickle. When they go through their list of podcasts that they subscribe to and find one that hasn't been updated in several months, they might delete it from the list to make room for another show. Your listeners only have so much time to listen to podcasts, and you need to compete to stay on their playlists. Because podcasting isn't just about recording and publishing your show. You have to give your potential listeners compelling enough reasons to subscribe to, download, and listen to each show you put out. So after you've figured out why you're spending the time to create your show, it's important to find the aspect of your show that's going to connect with people. What need of theirs are you filling? What's going to drive them to listen in each time? Probably one of the best ways to figure out the answers to these questions is to spend time listening to podcasts that you enjoy and to figure out why you like them. Why do you keep listening? Is it the podcast's content, the host's persona, the great music? Take what you like about the shows you listen to and try to apply those same settings to your own show. So those are some basic questions to ask yourself to help you figure out your podcast. Next, let's discuss some of the issues involved in developing the format of your show.